if I may just say, we did have some questions from a member. I think one of those is outstanding, and I apologise for not forwarding it on, so I'll do that.
To show that the percentage of budget on temporary agency staff is up 482%. I understand why that's like that, but would ask that, well, I would hope that somewhere along the line we will see a reduction in salary cost, perhaps not the same amount, but some sort of reduction to show that, because while we're employing temporary staff, we're not employing full-time staff, presumably.
I think the answer to that is in the assistant to the town clerk's report that interviews are hoping to take place for one of the permanent positions in the office in April.
Could you leave your microphone permanently switched on, please?
Okay, sorry.
Just be careful, don't swear.
I'll try not to. Sorry, I'm just signing those minutes.
Don't ask me
Right. Item 5, Budget and Policy Subcommittee. Hopefully you've all brought your minutes with you from that meeting, and I will go through it. Just let me do this. I did note that Councillor Sanders was left off inadvertently. He certainly had plenty to say at the meeting. For those of us who were there will know. So he was definitely present.
Councillor E. Sanders or Councillor P. Sanders?
Councillor P. Behave. I've lost the minutes for the minute. I've almost
They're on pink paper.
I know. Right. Item, the Budget and Policy Subcommittee, Wednesday the 1st of March. The minutes are 242 through to 250. Does anybody have any questions or comments to make? Councillor Rogers.
254, the application for the grant. Not being at that meeting, I wonder if we could be enlightened as to how this has arisen that they need that money.
Excuse me, can I just ask, do you mean 245, not 254? Because 254 is in part, no, it's not even there.
245, sorry,
Yeah,
am I?
That's all right. Yeah.
No, you just...
Go on. Right, and you'd like to know how we got to where we are?
Yes,
That.
please.
With a lot of hard work, I will have to say, for that part of the meeting. It took a wee while. Would the clerk like to enlighten Councillor Rogers?
Yeah, the position is originally it was anticipated that the emerging Tavistock Heritage Trust would be in a position to apply for what's called resilience funding from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and alongside that there was the prospect of some more limited support from the World Mining Heritage Site office in Cornwall by way of seed money to support that application. Subsequent inquiries of the Heritage Lottery Fund indicated that they felt there was a prospective confusion between applying for resilience funding on the one hand and being a partner with the Guildhall Gateway Centre project on the other. So the prospect of that funding therefore diminished, and what this is an application by way of seeking to assist with getting the new trust on a fully operational footing. There are a number of members of the board who are in situ at the moment, but the board will be reconstituting itself. It will need to be registering itself as a charity. It will need to have a development officer in situ who can actually start some of the work which is associated with being able to draw down and bid for monies from other bodies. So effectively this is seed money for the trust to assist it with its development and to take things forward, and that then provides the opportunity for them to participate more actively, not least with the Guildhall scheme going forwards.
Is that okay, Councillor Rogers?
I could go into a lot, Madam Mayor, but
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or queries about those minutes? Okay, I beg to move. Do I have a seconder from that meeting, please? Thank you, Councillor Mrs Johnson. All those in favour? Thank you very much, everybody. Right, item 6, Plans Committee. In the absence of Councillor Ward, would Councillor Mrs Whitcomb like to present the minutes, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The minutes of the 31st of January, items 224 to 232.
Thank you. Is there a seconder, please? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much indeed.
And the minutes of Tuesday, the 21st of February.
May I ask if Councillor Squire can present those minutes, please, because you and I weren't at that meeting.
We weren't there, no.
No.
You could ask, might be unable to at this particular point. I'm completely lost my...
Councillor Venning, have you got the minutes for the 21st with you?
They're in the big wad anyway.
Right. They were all on the table in front of you. Yeah. Right. Okay. Is there a seconder for those minutes, please? Thank you very much, Councillor Squire. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Right. Item 7, service reports. The General Manager's report. For noting, does anybody have any questions for the General Manager, please? No? Okay. We'd like to note that report, everybody. Noted? Thank you. And the Works Department report. Any questions from anybody? No? Everyone happy to note? Okay. Town Hall report. Any questions? No? Happy to note? Noted? Thank you. And the pannier market report. Any questions? Happy to note? Noted. Right, item A, finance and other matters. To receive for information the following Little A Chamber of Commerce meeting, which after having no minutes for a wee while, we seem to have Hansard now. So a very full and comprehensive set of minutes. Councillor Mrs Whitcomb.
Yes. May I ask whether he's had, are the electricity working outside? Has it been done?
In conjunction with Mrs Whitcomb, because we're on
Oh, sorry,
Chamber.
yes, you're on Chamber of Commerce. I thought you were on the food market. Sorry, no. It's to do with the... I should have asked it actually in the manager's
Go on then.
report.
We can backdate.
It's the electricity outside the town hall isn't working for the farmers market. Is it now?
Can you answer that, please, Town Hall Manager?
Could you come forward, please, because it needs to be heard on the microphone. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Mr Ayling.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I know we had the electrician come out last week to have a look at the socket outside the main entrance of the town hall, and as far as I'm concerned, I think the works is due to be completed by the end of this week, but the north door entrance is all fine and fixed, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr Ayling. Is that okay, Mrs Whitcomb? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any comments on the Chamber minutes? No, so we will note those. Report of the Assistant to the Town Clerk. Everyone happy to know, and as you will see in staffing matters, there is confirmation of the position in the office being interviewed for. Any questions? No? Okay, noted. Item D, Bid meeting. Oh, sorry, what have I gone? C. Oh, sorry, C. Farmers Market. Any questions? Noted. Item D, minutes of the Board of Directors meeting for bid. Any questions? Anything, Councillor Mrs Johnson?
Just a couple of observations of things that aren't quite correct in this. Perhaps somebody could feed back, perhaps Councillor Smith or Councillor the Mayor. The second page, it talks about the vicar, Steve Martin. Steve Martin's the assistant curate. And it looks like we've got a new town clerk called Chris Hearn now, so that needs some sorting out on the next page. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Changes as good as it is.
Right, okay, thank you. Councillor Smith, is there anything you wanted to bring forward from those minutes or from the bid meeting you recently attended? No?
No, really.
Okay, thank you. Item E, the Town Hall and Pannier Market Consultative Group, which are on separate minutes that you hopefully have brought with you. So the notes of that meeting, has anybody got any questions or anything on those? As there's a lot in there about the trader consultation, etc. There will be a meeting for the traders on the 9th of March in the Town Hall on Thursday for them to hear about what is happening with scaffolding and how the process is going to work and how people move around, etc. Councillor Mrs Whitcomb.
I heard from a trader today that they don't know anything about this meeting this week. Could you put a note up or something?
There has been a note put up, and I think each individual trader was given a note, weren't they, Mr. Carruthers?
I'm
just waiting on the memo from the General Manager to get it out.
What?
Yeah, I haven't received the memo.
My understanding.
Sorry, but that's...
I've been around the individual traders myself, the 5 players, but obviously I can't get around every single trader before Thursday, the ones that will be trading Thursday, so I started on Friday to let them know.
Mr. General Manager, are you going to speak?
I was going to say my understanding was there was clear instruction to speak to all traders on Friday, which you undertook. So all traders from the Friday consultation should be fully aware. And that instruction was meant to happen also on the Tuesday and the Wednesday leading up to Thursday. And also considering it's minuted in the Town Hall and Pannier Market Consultative minutes, is also the responsibility of those representatives to pass that message on to all the traders, NMTF and non-MTF members that they represent.
May I just ask Mr. Carruthers, sorry, do you know if those members who were there at the meeting, if they have sort of spread word about?
I believe so, yeah.
Right, okay.
On Friday, I went round everyone who was there from the previous, from the general manager's previous consultation, and they were fully aware. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. Councillor Sanders, Deputy Mayor.
Well, I mean, Councillor and Mrs Whitcomb may be just picking up one individual trader, but as this is such an important meeting, ought we to try and do something a bit extra to make certain? I mean, is this someone who is only in the market occasionally, or is it a regular trader?
It's a 5-day trader.
Right, well, it seems to me that we've only got a day left, but it is actually quite a critical meeting.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I just wonder if, it's not really a matter for us as councillors, I don't think, because it's an operational issue,
No.
but could I ask through the town clerk?
Can you use your market Facebook page or something as well? Would that be appropriate? No.
I'll draft a memo for tomorrow, which will be circulated to all traders, and any traders which aren't trading on the Wednesday or Thursday will be contacted.
Right, thank you. Right, item F, the Tavistock Heritage Initiative, the report of the project manager. That's enclosed with graphs, etc.
Madam Mayor.
Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I think we ought to, from this meeting, record our thanks to the manager for his organisation of the event at Church Lane.
Oh yes, Fulston House.
Yeah, really nice, really good event, well organised, and able to learn a lot from it.
And made front page of the Tavi Times, which is really good publicity for it. To say, you know, because a lot of people do care about Fulston House. It's a building that is very much in the centre of town, and people have been walking past it for donkey's years and do care about it. So thank you to the Tavi Times for actually putting such a good report. You know, photos are well and good, but the report was very good, conveying the works that are being done to the property. And thank you, Councillor Smith. Do you have anything else to say on this report, Councillor Smith? Or does the town clerk? No? Okay. Councillor Sanders.
Well, Madam Mayor, I'm used to RAG ratings, but do I infer that the extreme column on the right, where there are red entries, are areas that we should be concerned about, or are they simply just drawing them to our attention? Does the RAG rating only apply to the earlier ones, where as far as I can see we've only got one, we've got quite a few that are orange, but I'm a little bit confused.
My apologies, Mr Deputy Mayor. The items in red are actually notes or updates for the Project Management Board, and we would normally have presented it to you all in black, but it was to assist with the conduct of that meeting, so it is not drawing anything specific to your attention other than an update to the PMB.
Thank you. Could I ask, just for the future then, I think most of us are used to RAG ratings now, and if we see something in red, it sets alarm bells ringing, so if it's not meant to be in red, it would be quite helpful if it wasn't. Thank you.
Thank you. G, any update from or questions to council representatives serving on other outside bodies? Councillor Mrs Johnson, did you have anything on at Oakley Rail, as you sent me an email?
Yes, thank you. The people who are involved in bringing the railway back to Oakhampton and hopefully back to Tavistock eventually will be in the pannier market this coming Saturday between 9 and 1. So there'll be people from Destination Oakhampton and Oakhampton Railway. And I shall be there, so I look forward to seeing people. There'll be lots of people there, be able to answer technical questions and update us on where we are with things. The scheduled train, which is going the following Saturday from Oakhampton to London, first time in 50 years, was booked just about as soon as it was opened up to the public, so it didn't take very long to book that train completely. So obviously a very popular event there. So hopefully see some of you on Saturday in the pannier market. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, does anyone else have anything they'd like to update us on from meetings they've attended? No? Okay. Item 9, to receive such communications or reports as may be submitted by the Town Mayor. I have one, but I can't find it. What it is, I've got the dud part of the email, but I haven't got the real part. I had a telephone call from Mike Harper, who is the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. He wanted to come along tonight, but wasn't able to because the Chamber actually have a meeting tonight, same as us. What he was asking for is to do with the business rates, and he was hoping that a working group could be set up for members of the council, should they wish to do so, bid, and there was 3 organisations, Town Council, BID and Chamber of Commerce, working together, looking into business rates for people and asking, making sure that people are on the right rates, etc. But also, if assistance is needed, that they can apply for grants in the right way to West Devon, but also to lobby West Devon for the extra money they receive for such a thing, to be able to be actually allocated to businesses that would need it. So are there any members who are interested in joining such a group? No? Okay, I'll put my name forward. Sorry, Councillor Sanders.
I was just going to make a couple of comments. I mean, just so that people are absolutely clear, business rates are not controlled in any way, shape or form by the Borough Council. The rateable value of the property is set by the Valuation Office, and the multiplier, which is quite crucial, which Councillor Jory referred to earlier, is also set by the Valuation Office. All the Borough Council does is act as an unpaid tax collector for the government, in that we send out the bills for the business rates and we receive them and we pass them on, and out of every pound we get 13 pence roughly, sometimes nearer 14 pence, as the Borough Council comes back to us ultimately. So the Borough Council has no ability whatsoever to influence either the rateable value or the multiplier. As Councillor Jory said, we've done quite an extensive bit of work on Tavistock and Oakhampton and other towns within the borough, and the vast majority of the businesses will not, when they look at the final bill, that is, the rateable value may well have gone up, although in some cases it's actually gone down because of market conditions, but when they apply the lower multiplier, their net payable sum, in many cases, will either be the same or less. There are one or two organisations, such as public houses, where turnover comes into the equation as well, where there may be some significant increases, but we haven't identified any major issues at the present time. As far as business rate relief is concerned, certain businesses can apply for small business rate relief. That process is no different than it was previously. Certain businesses can apply if they are the only surviving business in the town or village. That is continuing in the same way, but the Borough Council is intending to take a more robust position on the discretionary 20% business rate relief. Just to be clear, for charities, just to be clear, all registered charities receive 80% relief on their business rate by statute. That is a national situation. They all get that regardless of whether they're big or very, very small. The local authority has the ability then to grant up to an additional 20%. We've had lots of representation from traders within the town over long periods of time now, with the increasing number of charity shops, particularly in the main streets of the towns, and the impact that is having on businesses. And the Borough Council is proposing for the year commencing 1st of April 17 to continue its current policy, which is not to provide any additional relief above the statutory 80% for national charities, and as a general principle not to provide any additional relief over and above that for charities shops within the town centres of the Borough Council. There is an exception provision going to be included in that, where it may be that the shop is absolutely fundamental to the operation of that particular charity. TAS is probably a good example, where they're funded largely by two sources, one of which is the Devon County Council grant, and the other is the money that they raise through their charity shop. So there will be areas where we would need to take a much closer look. But in general, the shops, even those for local charities, we would not be looking to provide any additional relief above the statutory 80% from April the 1st. That does not mean that charities, and I'm picking one at random for a minute, but Kingdom House, which is not a shop, that is not to say that they would be denied the opportunity to have additional relief. It is simply responding to the trading conditions in the town and the difficulties that the traders say they're facing because of the additional relief that even the local charities are getting on shop premises, which does tend to have the effect of keeping rents artificially high as well. So that is a position which the Borough Council is taking to try and address the problem. They have already done quite a bit of work, Madam Mayor. I don't know whether Councillor Harper is aware of that, Mr. Harper is aware of that, or if the Chamber is aware of it. but I just thought it might be helpful for the members of this council to have a little bit of background and to say that the Borough Council is doing what it can to respond to concerns by the traders, particularly in the main streets of the town. We're frequently asked to stop charity shops trading in the town centres. As a local planning authority, we have no power whatsoever to do that. The charity shops rent premises from the owner. It's entirely up to the owner whether or not they decide to take them on as a tenant. The planning laws, if the shop has consent as a shop, or the premise has consent as a shop, the local planning authority has no ability to influence that. And as far as this council is concerned, I'm sure the councillors are aware, but just to put a marker down, because I frequently get challenged in the streets on this council also, other than for the shops that this council owns, the premises that this council rents out, this council is in no position whatsoever legally to have any impact or influence on what particular trader comes into a vacant premise within the town centre. That is a matter between that trader and the owner of the building.
Thank you. Councillor Rogers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Deputy Mayor and I have had a conversation on this subject before, but I wonder if he can enlighten other members. One of the biggest problems that the traders in this town have is that they accept that the charity shops can get 80% relief. What they strongly object to is the fact that they are selling new goods, and under current legislation they are meant to be gifted goods. And some charities look up and say, well, I'm selling second-hand paint. No, you may well have. It's a tin of paint that they've acquired, and they've even bought it as overstock, and they class it as second-hand. You know, have you ever seen second-hand paint? No, I haven't. So, who is the governing body who controls that legislation, please?
Thank you for that question, Councillor Rogers. This was also a subject of debate recently at the Borough Council. You're quite right. There is an organisation called Waste Savers at Chagford, which has caused all manner of problems. In that case, there's the National Park Authority, who are the local planning authority. The concept of the 80-20 is that, in theory, 80% of any goods that are sold in a charity shop should be resale as second-hand goods, and up to 20% can be new goods. Waste Savers is precisely one of those areas where they were buying bankrupt stock of tins of paint and selling it and claiming it was second-hand. Clearly, in my own mind, it's not, and in the mind of the park it wasn't, and we face similar difficulties here. My understanding is that predominantly the policing of what charity shops sell in terms of percentage of new versus second-hand is a matter for trading standards, which is a branch of Devon County Council in this instance, and there is nothing as far as we could establish that the Borough Council or indeed this council could do which would tackle that particular problem. But I do know that there are a number of traders in the town who are claiming, and claiming quite vehemently, that the charity shops are, some of the charity shops, I hasten to add, are breaching the regulations and selling substantially more than they should be doing of new goods. Actually policing that is quite difficult, but it is an issue, as I understand it, for trading standards to deal with. And certainly the Borough Council is intending to have a conversation with trading standards to raise our concerns, bearing in mind that at the moment we do not have concrete evidence. What we have is a lot of anecdotal evidence. I have no reason to disbelieve that anecdotal evidence, but in terms of actually taking action, the Borough Council currently doesn't have any concrete evidence that we could actually take to trading standards, but we are going to make reference to trading standards with a view to seeing if something can be done to monitor the position more carefully, because it is a very strongly held concern by the traders of a number of towns throughout the Borough Council, and I suspect throughout the country, but I can't comment beyond the Borough Council. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Right. The other thing I was going to mention was the assistant to the town clerk sent out an email this week with the people places document that was referred to also by Councillor Jury as the benchmarking report. I have to say it is worth a read. And we need to take some of it on board when we start our neighbourhood plan and things like that. So if you haven't seen it on email, could you just go back up to Monday when a certain lady sent out so many emails after she returned from holiday that you might have missed it. So could you please just look for it? I think, Jan, you did put it to people and places, didn't you?
I've just sent on the email that I
Yeah.
received with the attachment.
But yes, it is worth a read with all the data, etc., that is in here. But as I think it was Councillor Mrs Johnson pointed out, we're not sure it really is like for like, but Councillor Jury will go and find out and come back to us later. So it is worth a read, particularly before Councillor Jury arranges through the officers at West Devon and through the town clerk when it's suitable for somebody to come and talk to us about it. Any questions? Councillor Sanders?
Madam Mayor, my question is quite simple. If I were to eat incredible amounts of humble pie, could the assistant to the town clerk be prevailed upon to resend it to me, because I know I deleted all of her emails earlier on this afternoon?
Well, she knows.
On block.
Oh, and I think Councillor Gibbons is going to own up to the same thing.
Can I open up and say I can't access my emails at the moment?
Right, okay. Can I just ask, I'm really sorry, or if you haven't got it, Jan,
I will.
I was going to say I will resend it if you like. But yes, if you could all have a look at it, and if you could do... Is it hard copy for Councillor?
There's going to be a hard copy in the back, which will be that one. Those are not on email.
Right, okay. For Councillor Mrs Whitcomb and Councillor E Sanders, there's going to be the hard copy. This hard copy will be at the back of the room. It is an easy read, but it's not that easy on the computer, I have to be honest, because you lose bits of data. Okay, but it is an important report for us to read with the differences from 2014. Right. Where are we? Urgent business brought forward at the town discretion of the town mayor. I don't think we have any doing, Mr Town Clerk. Right, it's time for goodbye Sam, goodbye Councillor Jury. Jury, Tory, yeah.